Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
A dispute between neighbors turns deadly with one shooting the other, then barricading himself in a home. This time, Detroit's police chief got directly involved and managed to prevent more loss of life. That tops our news at 5. A very tense situation ends in a suspect's surrender instead of more gunfire.
But one person is dead because of an argument police say had been going on for about a year. The shooting happened this morning on Robeson Street, south of Joy on the city's east side. Victor Williams has more from police headquarters on how the DPD finally got the shooter to surrender. Victor.
Yes, Devin and Kimberly, it was a very busy day for DPD as well as Chief White, but at least he's satisfied that no one else had to die.
He was prepared to take his own life and potentially shoot it out with us.
A barricaded gunman situation peacefully comes to an end after a neighbor dispute turns deadly.
This could have ended in a really bad way.
Around 6:45 a.m., officers responded to a call of shots fired. As soon as they made it to Robeson and Joy, that's when they found a person in the middle of the street suffering from a gunshot wound. That person later died. Turns out it was the neighbor of the gunman who had been shot over an Amazon package dispute from over a year ago.
Very upset about this Amazon package, and he has a tremendous number of guns. We've got a bomb squad going in there to get his weapons. He's got a lot of wild animals in there. He's got guinea pigs and a whole bunch of other stuff in there that we're getting out.
The gunman is said to have had an arsenal of military-grade weapons in his home. Before surrendering, family members tried themselves de-escalating the situation, pleading with their loved one to come out.
Uncle Mike, you know we're here to love you. We do love you, and we're looking to get you whatever support you need.
But at the end of the day, it takes crisis intervention negotiators and Chief White himself stepping in to bring the man out.
He wanted me to hear his side of the story. We told him, if you come out, I will listen. He wanted me to walk and talk with him, so we walked and talked, and he gave me some information about his initial complaint.
And Chief White wants to make sure that this man gets the mental health assistance that he needs before being held accountable legally. Victor Williams, Local 4.
What a turn of events. All right, Victor.
Well, here is an unsettling sight. A pedestrian bridge in Detroit boarded up because it's been deemed unsafe to walk across. Sean Lay's live near Canfield Avenue with a closer look at why MDOT decided to shut the bridge down. Sean.
Kimberly, this is actually a very big deal. This is the bridge behind me, a popular bridge. This is becoming a rather unpopular decision. Look, walk with me. We put drone 4 up so we can see over this plywood here to see what kind of condition the deck of the bridge is. I went underneath the bridge to see what kind of condition the bridge is underneath. And what we're learning tonight is this pedestrian bridge will never reopen again.
We put out an advisory this morning that this Canfield pedestrian bridge right near the Wayne State campus south of I-94 has to be closed. And at the moment, I have to say indefinitely, because we don't know yet the timeline of when what we're calling a multimodal bridge will be rebuilt in this area.
MDOT making a move today for public safety, knowing it will be unpopular. The Canfield pedestrian bridge is now closed for good. It is popular with families, linking the Woodbridge community over the lodge to the rest of the city.
But we had the bridge inspectors out day before yesterday, and they did the normal inspection, and they said, we don't like how this looks, we got to shut it down right away.
Keep in mind, back in May, Ed Hides fell through the Spruce pedestrian bridge over the lodge as he was walking to a Tigers game. I got under the Canfield Bridge for a look. We flew drone 4 over the Canfield Bridge, also for a look. MDOT says there is no danger of this bridge collapsing onto the lodge, but there are also no plans to fix it, maintain it. It is permanently closed as of today.
We do realize this is used by a lot of people. We've got homes around here, we've got the school, the athletic field, but it's not safe, so we got to close it.
Back here live, people who push strollers with their kids, ride bikes or walk will have to use pedestrian bridges that remain open down this way. This bridge will not reopen, but another bridge will come that will handle vehicles, bicycles, and pedestrians, but that will happen when the 94 exchange is rebuilt. However, the timetable on that has not yet been complete. We're live tonight. Sean Lay, Local 4, back to you.
Incredible. Okay, Sean, thanks.
Some breaking sports news. There will be an NFL game at Ford Field this Sunday. It will not involve the Lions. The league is moving the Buffalo Bills versus Cleveland Browns game to Detroit because of the lake effect snowstorm that is expected in the Buffalo area. The Lions will be on the road this Sunday playing in New Jersey against the Giants. The Bills then may just stay in town because of their, of course, playing the Lions at Ford Field a few days later on Thanksgiving. Weird to have the visiting team have two games in a row on the
That's right.
the
And a quick
field.
turnaround from Hobnobble Gobble, which is on Friday. They got to get the field ready for Sunday.
Ford, you're so right. Well, speaking of snow, it is looking a lot more wintry on the west side of the state today than it is over here, and that's fine. These videos from Bangor, Michigan, and from Kalamazoo.
Yeah, both cities already seeing significant accumulation and could get a foot or more over the next couple of days. Southeast Michigan isn't likely to see very much of this, but we may be in for some snow. Paul Gross is watching it for us on Exact Track 40 radar. Paul.
Well, good evening, and that's why we're going to start with radar. You can see these patches of snow in the area right now. Not a whole lot going on to the south, but to the north here, we still have a bit going on. Here you can see in the Warren area, up toward Macomb Township, Utica, Rochester Hills, and then even farther to the north here, we can see that the radar echoes pick up a little bit. You see these darker blues here up toward Capac, up toward Attica, Dryden. So that all is a little better snow that's coming on down. But again, as I mentioned, a lot of that is in the northern half of the area, not much going on in the southern half of the area. So your evening planner, we're going to have these snow showers around, and these temperatures are just cold, dropping through the 30s into the 20s, the upper 20s by the end of the evening. The wind, of course, making it feel colder. But then we got to start talking about wind chills as a potential problem. We're going to see those wind chills dropping more and more as we head into the weekend. I'll be back to talk about that, break down the snow and what's happening with that. And we'll talk about your weekend forecast all in just a few minutes.
All right, Paul. It is the end of an era for one of the most powerful political figures in Washington. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi will not seek to keep her leadership role within the Democratic Party, though she is going to remain in Congress. That announcement today as Republicans prepare to take control of the House with a narrow majority. Alice Barr with the latest from Washington. Alice?
Good evening. President Biden is among the prominent Democrats celebrating Speaker Pelosi's legacy today, but she is a deeply polarizing figure, sharply condemned by the Republicans preparing to take control of the House. A major shift in the political landscape as House Speaker Nancy Pelosi announces she will remain in Congress, but not in a leadership role.
I will not seek re-election to Democratic leadership in the next Congress.
Pelosi is one of the most powerful and polarizing figures in Washington, leading her caucus for nearly 20 years with a reputation for making deals while making history as the first female Speaker of the House.
When I came to the Congress in 1987, there were 12 Democratic women. Now there are over 90, and we want more.
The Speaker referencing the January 6th attack in the very place where she stood.
American democracy is majestic, but it is fragile.
Calling Democrats stronger than expected results in the midterms a defense of democracy, though the party lost control of the House, with Republicans seizing a razor-thin majority and today previewing what they've long promised, investigations into Biden administration officials, the president's son Hunter Biden's business dealings, and the president himself.
This is an investigation of Joe Biden, and that's where the committee will focus in this next Congress.
Being able to issue subpoenas, have hearings, do depositions, drive investigations, drive media coverage, they're going to have a stranglehold on the attention.
Representative Hakeem Jeffries is widely expected to succeed Pelosi and would lead in the minority for at least the next 2 years, as House Democrats prepare for battle in a divided Congress without their most tested general leading the charge. Speaker Pelosi got her longest applause when she referenced her husband, Paul Pelosi, who was recently seriously injured in a home invasion attack that she said in the past would influence her next career decisions. In Washington, Alice Barr, Local 4.
Okay, Alice, thank you. A child is involved in a car crash every 33 seconds. Being in a car seat, though, can dramatically reduce the risk of serious injuries.
But experts say up to 80% of car seats are installed incorrectly. And that raises the question, are your children truly safe in their seats?
Well, today, 3 of our Local 4 parents are tackling this problem to help you make sure your kids are as protected as possible. We begin with Pamela Osborne live in our Local 4 garage to put her own car seats to the test. Pamela, you have a lot of car seats.
Oh, yes, I have 3. We have a 1.5-year-old here, and then I have my 3-year-old twins in the back seat. So they are joining us here today as well. And so is Renee Czar. She is a certified child passenger safety technician. She does this kind of work, and she also is the injury prevention coordinator from Children's Hospital of Michigan. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And we're, of course, talking about car seat safety. What are some of the most common mistakes that you see parents make?
Some of the most common mistakes that we see parents make are either transitioning children from one car seat to another car seat too soon, or the different stages of car seats. It can also be on the installation of the car seat as well in the vehicle, not using the seatbelt system or any of the hooks that are attached correctly.
And so tell us, like, an actual safety inspection of a car seat, about how long does that whole process take?
It can be quite, especially got 3 little ones, it can be quite time consuming, but it can take generally 15 minutes to 30 minutes, depending on if the caregiver has a lot of questions. We want to be there as a good resource. We want to make sure they feel confident to be able to install these car seats when they drive away. And so we want to take the time and be patient and go through everything they want to know about how to use them correctly.
And let's talk a little bit about the pandemic. How has that impacted parents' abilities to go places and get these car seat inspections done?
It has impacted parents dramatically. We have lost a lot of check stations. We lost a lot of techs, but we're trying to rebuild that population and get them there for the parents and caregivers as well. A lot of technicians are doing them virtually, so they can do an online check or do it virtually through their an app on their phone. But yes, it has brought down some of the locations that even do them as well because of funding issues. So unfortunately, it's been a struggle for parents, and I understand.
Okay, all right. Well, Renee is going to be putting my car seats to the test. She's going to be checking to see how well my husband and I did getting them strapped in and getting them safely put away. So, of course, we will see you again next half hour, and maybe a little bit of an inspection then. Reporting live for now. I'll send things back to you in the studio. Pamela Osborne, Local 4.
We prepped all 3 kids beautifully for their starring roles today.
What are they doing, watching PJ Masks or something in the back seat? Because you don't hear a peep out of them.
Everybody's happy.
Oh,
That's
the
great.
snacks are to keep them quiet. They're already trying to get out of the car seats, but we have to check them before that happens.
Snacks always works on me to stay quiet, too. All right.
That's great. Serious subject matter. We'll talk back with Pamela in just a bit. Thank you.
Also ahead at 5:30, Jason Colthorpe's going to introduce us to a mom who knows firsthand how much those car seats matter. You'll hear what made the difference when she was hit by another driver with her 2 little girls in the car.
Still ahead here at 5, something we haven't seen since the early 1980s when it comes to mortgage rates.
Also, Starbucks workers on strike, in some cases forcing locations to shut down. Why they chose today to make a statement.